and welcome to the Moat. We talk about real businesses, real stakes, and real numbers. I'm your host, Kyle Harbaugh, and today is a bit of a weird episode. It's a bit different, a bit unusual. You might be asking, "Where's Sam? Where's the rest of your team?" Well, Sam is with a client. The rest of our team had scheduling conflicts, so I'm here. I'm here alone, but we're going to have a great time. So this is the Moat, where we talk about real businesses, real numbers, real stakes, and we talk about business news, business headlines. We solve business problems in real time, but we don't just here. We're not here just to report on the news. We're here to decode it. We're here to break down every headline and help you understand, what does this mean for me, for my business? What does this mean for your business? How can you apply the principles, the lessons to your business so it can be stronger? So your business is harder to copy, harder to take, harder to kill. So our goal isn't just to provide you with information, it's really to help you get better decisions. And so the title for this episode is Why We Believe Most Businesses Are Leaving Value on the Table. And we're going to be unpacking that. But first, we need to break down a few different aspects, a few different things, a few different questions that we've been getting a lot. So the first one is, why exactly is Chief Go Officers here? Why did we build it? What does it do? So the answer isn't always what people expect. We didn't actually create Chief Go Officers to become an AI consultancy. Sometimes we consult on AI. That is absolutely a component of our business. Is a capability of our business. We've built two systems from the ground up early on. Now we have several other ones. To be totally honest, I'm not even sure how many we have at this point because it's changing so rapidly. But we're always building new systems now, and AI was never the idea. It was really the best way to describe it is, let me tell you a story. Over the years, we kept seeing similar things happen. Really smart business owners, great businesses serving people with a real need, who had a real need. They had incredible expertise, but everything depended on a few people. Usually the owner, maybe a few other key people inside of their team. We'd walk into these organizations and we'd see that so much of this stuff was never documented. It lived in somebody's head. It was expertise that was acquired over decades. People knew how to solve big, messy problems. They knew how to navigate complicated situations. They knew all sorts of things about their pricing structure or client relationships, but so few of those things were documented. Businesses become fragile when knowledge lives inside somebody's head. I saw that so many times, one way or another, that information was disrupted. Somebody might have a health crisis. I've seen people die. I've seen not work related, thankfully, but people die. Unfortunately, that's a fact of life. You can't get away from that. The only certain thing is death and taxes, right? But you have people leave an organization. People don't want to share information anymore. There's lots of different reasons why capability can leave an organization. And so we ended up wanting to solve that problem, help in that area. I come from a legal background. I worked in law firms for a long time. I did lots of different things within law firms. My partner, he came from financial services. He helped financial advisors grow their practice. Um, and those professionals were great at what the thing they did, but they weren't always very good at documenting. They weren't very good at working on their business. They worked a lot in their business, but the the real issue with uh, a service-based business is your people are your product. If you have a manufacturing business, there's other issues, there's other struggles, there's other problems that come along with that business model. But theoretically, you could keep stamping out all of your product, and you might not need a big team. Um, with a service-based business, especially a professional service, you're really selling judgment. You're really selling something very powerful, a sense of security, a sense of surety, a sense of clarity, being sure that like this is the thing, this is the path forward. Uh, and if your people, I mean, really, it's your product is your people. But what happens if you have your people leave? What if your greatest asset walks out the door? So that that was we wanted to help build more resilient, more healthier businesses, more valuable businesses. So we wanted to come alongside businesses and help them create more value, create more health, create more value for the owner, for their team, and for the people they serve, the clientele they have. So that really changed when AI came online. Obviously, AI has been around for quite a while. It just we didn't have the capability to really execute it, but the concept of AI had been out there for quite a while. We've seen AI really come front and center in the last years, and it's only going to speed up. It's only going to get more interesting from here. From the get go, we never changed our business based on AI. Like we didn't replace people with AI. I've talked to some businesses. They have. I talked to a huge dev team. They had like 300 developers, and they replaced. They saw that AI could replace a lot of them, and they cut a lot of headcount. I'm not saying that was the right or wrong move. I'm just saying some people have chosen to replace people. That's not my philosophy. I believe that AI is an enablement. It's a tool, and it makes you be able to get more done in a shorter period of time. Obviously, you need to check its work. Currently, AI systems are many of the AI tools out there. I won't talk about our system specifically because I think ours fall in a different category, but most of them hallucinate in a very substantial way where you need to check its work. You need to verify the output. You can't just trust it. You need to read through it. But AI has really been able to preserve expertise. That's really what we've been interested in. Is it finally gave us a practical pathway to preserve expertise and then bring that expertise in forward in a dynamic way to solve issues, solve problems in a fresh new way. For the first time, businesses were able to capture decades worth of experience in a dynamic way and and solve future problems. And so that's one of the things that we've been really interested in, why we have built the tools that we've built, and how we help our clients is knowledge should scale. It shouldn't disappear when your people disappear. Yeah, you should continually capture and develop and iterate and innovate on the information that you have, on the knowledge that you have. So then we noticed another pattern as we worked with these businesses. We noticed another pattern. This really wasn't a professional services issue. This is an issue that showed up in professional services, to be sure, but this was a business problem that could be applied to all sorts of different industries, technology, manufacturing, healthcare. It didn't really matter. The health of a business came down to, is it dependent on the individuals in the business, or is it or how independent is probably the better way to frame it. Is businesses, obviously, especially a service-based business, needs an individual, people inside of it. Like I said before, your people are your product. But how dependent is it on one single person, one key person, or how much of your team is cross-functional? How many, switch hitters do you have? So that's when things kind of changed for Chief Go officers, because not because our services changed, but our understanding deepened. We realized that we weren't solving unique problems or problems that were unique to professional services. We were solving a business value problem. So let's get back to our question of the day. So why are they leaving value on the table? And here's how I'd answer that. We believe businesses are leaving value on the table because they're optimizing for today's performance and they're not building tomorrow's capabilities. So see, we ran into this all the time, that you're so in the day to day as a leader and owner of the business that it's very difficult. It can be very difficult to see what's next or see what makes the most sense. And so that's one of the reasons why we built this chart, to help give our clients visibility. I'll let you take a look at it right now. See, this isn't everything, obviously, but this quickly helps people see and understand the different stages of growth, where they currently are. And this doesn't necessarily mean that it's a hard and fast rule. There can be some nuance here, but this is in the teaming stage. Let's just say a stage 2 business. Your big issue there is education and process problems. You got to educate people on your team and help them understand what they need to do, why they need to do it, what your vision is, your mission is, the why, if you will. You need to give them clear expectations, clear goals. You need to give them structure and systems, and where to find those different policies and procedures, and clear role responsibilities and all those things. And you'll never get to the next step. You'll never get to stage 3 if you don't have stage 1 or stage 2 built out. If you don't have a foundation, you might be able to get to a stage 3, but sooner or later you're going to fall backwards. You're going to go backwards. We see this time and again, where businesses get to a particular stage of growth, and then all of a sudden they snap back like a rubber band, and they become smaller because they didn't build the infrastructure they needed to support that level of growth. And they were able to grow beyond, say, stage 2 for a while, but then they weren't able to sustain it. So it really comes down to capability. Are we building enough capability to sustain the business? Last episode, we talked a lot about private equity. We talked about roll-ups, family offices, strategic buyers, all sorts of investors, right? But they're not really buying your revenue. They're not buying the profit that you pull in. Because here's the thing, a business could be very, very profitable. But as soon as the owner walks away, they had all the relationships. They had all the client relationships. Maybe they internally, people were following them. Their team really believed in them, but they don't believe in the next guy or the next girl. And so there's too much owner dependence there. And so really, a sophisticated buyer is not asking, is there revenue here? Is there capability here? Obviously, revenue is a component, but it's only so much. It's how repeatable is that revenue? Healthy businesses are based on are valuable businesses, and you don't create value by having a lot of dependence on one person or two people or three people. That's not a valuable business. As soon as those people leave, their expertise, those relationships, so much falls apart and leaves with them. So, the businesses that are truly the most valuable have the most capability and the most resiliency. And so many times I talk to business owners and they want to talk about selling, and they want to talk about exiting, but they're not ready. And quite frankly, they're just not ready. They haven't had they have a fragmented team. They don't have a sales process that's repeatable. They might even have a sales process that's repeatable. I'm remembering one conversation we had. They were pulling in just a crazy amount of money by this one sales guy. And this one sales guy, he was making all the really big deals with all the really big customers. I'm talking like Fortune 500 companies, but nobody knew how he was doing it. They had not documented his sales process, his technique at all. That's a giant risk. And I'm glad for that company. God bless them. But like, they need to do something about that, because for whatever reason, if that person leaves, decides they don't want to do it anymore, they want to retire, they have a health crisis, whatever, that business is going to shrink, or maybe go under, depending on the circumstances. So we really need to understand what creates value, what people, what sophisticated buyers want, and what types of problems do we need to solve, what types of infrastructure do we need to put in, what, say, policies, procedures, team members, tools. So you might have, like, say you're building a great team, you have a team of all 8 players, but if they don't have the tools they need to do their job effectively, they're going to be less effective. That's why some people are very worried about, well, now it doesn't take that many people. You could build a team of, let's say 5 people, and if they're really, really enabled with, say, something like AI, that competitor could come out of nowhere and take a significant market share from a much more established business. That's entirely true. You need to really guard against that risk and think about your moat. What is it about your business that is difficult so that people can't copy it, take it, or kill it? So these are all things to think about. And so the people we serve today, we're a good fit if you're preparing to sell. You're acquiring companies. You're integrating acquisitions you've already made. You're trying to reduce your owner dependency. Okay. And then you're trying to preserve expertise. I think this is a really interesting one that people aren't thinking about. That they think about all the profit they bring in, and their balance sheet. All the things you can measure. But how one of the most valuable things in your business are your people, and that doesn't show up on your balance sheet. So people don't think about it. And so we really need to think about how to build an organization that is resilient, that the team is aligned and rowing in the same direction. People are in the role best suited to them. They're they have a chance to do their best work. I'm not saying everybody has to be a big happy family, but they need to get along. They need to work well together, um, and they need to really believe in what they're doing. That they're making a difference for their community, for the clients they serve. I see so many times um, people are just showing up for a paycheck, and that's a problem. That's a big risk. If people are just showing up for a paycheck, then as soon as somebody can offer them a bigger paycheck, they're over there. They're not with you anymore. And so we really need to think about how to build a team and incentivize them to stay, incentivize them to grow and to push the business forward and take some ownership and see the impact that they make in the bottom line, in the organization as a whole. And so, um, we are very much about helping business owners get a line on, or an understanding, visibility on what they need to do, what problems they need to solve, the few constraints that matter the most, so that you can grow a healthier and more valuable business. Our mission statement is to leave every business better than we find it. That includes the people who choose not to work with us, or the people we choose not to work with. We still wish everybody well. We want to provide as much value as we can. There's all sorts of free resources. There's lots of reasons why we might not work together today. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe it just doesn't make sense. Maybe there's no money. We still want to provide help. So if you have any questions or concerns, go ahead and take our free growth audit. You can get a better idea of where you are, where you need to go, or what you need to build in between to make your vision a reality. We deserve, we believe that every business deserves to be healthier tomorrow than it is today. We believe that there is a way to do business that is better for you, more profitable for you as the business owner, better for the team. More people are going to like where they work, and it's going to deliver more value for the client, for the customer. We want to build businesses that are more resilient, more transferable, better places to work, better investments, better legacies. You know, that's important to us, that the business is it's sustainable. It's sustainable. I think about this restaurant that I used to go to. Man, they had the best prime rib I've ever had. It like sticks in my mind how good this prime rib was. They would slow cook it for like 14 hours, and it would literally like melt in your mouth. It was so tender. It was so delicious. They come out. It was a big production. Um, they'd get the salad out, and they'd like spin it, and they'd crack the pepper on it, and throw the cheese on the top, and it was this really, it was a show, and it was just, I remember going there with my dad a few times, and it was such a cool experience, and it broke my heart when I heard that business wasn't being carried on. It was a business that had been in, they had been around since the 30s, um, the 1930s, and now that the children didn't want to carry that business on. I wonder, did they go, yeah, I don't like that business. I'm ready to, just sell it, get rid of it. I hate that thing. Dad was always at that. Mom was always at that restaurant. They cared so much about that restaurant. They cared more about the restaurant than me. I don't think that's a good way to operate. I think you need to obviously take care of your family. You need to maintain friendships. You need to maintain relationships. We need, you can do that and still build a business, but you have to build it in a way where it's not dependent on you. I've talked to so many business owners and they're like, I want to go see my kid's recital. I want to go to my kid's sports game. I want to go on a vacation, but they feel like they can't. That really bugs me. That really breaks my heart because there is a way to do business that is creative, that is innovative, that is pushing things forward and doing a better job than yesterday, and is profitable. But it takes intentionality. It takes time, and so wanted to leave you with we've been talking a lot about AI, organizational health, leadership, enterprise value, private equity, and these all might seem like disjointed, different topics, but they're really not. They're all answering one question: how do you build a business that is more valuable, more healthy? And that's why chief go officers exist, to answer that question, to provide the support, and really drill down and understand what are the few constraints that matter the most for your business that will make the biggest impact to make your business more healthy and more valuable. So, if today's conversation has provoked any thoughts, I'd love to hear about it. Leave me a comment or leave something in the chat. Let me know that you heard this, that you made it to the end. Hit the subscribe button. If you haven't subscribed, you need to. You should. If you heard anything that really challenged the way you thought about business, share this with a business owner. I'd really appreciate it. That's how we grow this channel. That's how more people find out about us. We're here to help everybody. Like I said, we want to leave every business that we come in contact with better than we found it, and we do that by creating free stuff, free resources. And so if you go ahead and take our free growth audit. If you're wrestling with an important decision, book time with me, book time with my team. We'll be happy to explore it with you. Go to chiefgoofficers.com. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can learn more about the work we do, the awesome AI systems that we've built, how they're human in the loop, that they're highly, highly accurate. They're not trained on the whole internet. They're trained on a very specific set of vetted experts. We'd love to work with you and answer any questions and explore what's possible. So also, I'd recommend connect with me on LinkedIn. Let me know you heard the show, and let me know what episode you heard. I'd love to know that you heard this one. And then subscribe to the newsletter that we have there. I'm a big proponent of giving away all the secrets. I just sell the implementation. And so, that's ideas are free. The craftsmanship, the implementation, that's the more difficult part. That takes time, that takes money, effort, sacrifice, but it's worth it. It's worth it to build a healthier business, a more valuable business. Until next time, everyone, keep building that moat.